Oh, hey, good morning, folks. How are you? This is Paul. I guess it's around 20 minutes of 6 in the morning. It's 5:30, and I didn't really realize it until maybe 20 minutes ago, but I'm over like a phase of my life right now, and it's been a very troubling phase of my life because what I've been going through is nothing short of um, torturous. Well, what I've done was I sent out either. I don't think it was five. I think it's six. If not six, it's seven of these uh, boxes. I've got three receipts here, so I know that each week one has gone out. But these shipments to the Philippines of food was utmost on my mind because you know that I have a brain and that I can think. You know what I mean? I'm not. This is not to be hurtful to anyone, and my subscribers or new people coming into the channel. I'm not trying to be a dickhead, but like I have a brain and I kind of use it, and I kind of try to look and peer into the future, and that's why some people come here and my other channels I got removed because I kind of knew where all this was going, but like when I was on Breitbart 3 years ago, I started figuring this out. I knew that the Bolsheviks were getting so bad in this country, of every race, not just white, that I knew that something serious was going to occur. I knew that, but I thought it was going to be, honestly, I thought it was going to be martial law. I thought that there was going to be, um, like a civil war, and not like completely all out, but there would be pockets. And just to let you know, that's what Abraham Lincoln's greatest fear was. If what I read was correct, Abraham Lincoln, before his death, because he died before the Civil War was over, he knew that the North would win. He knew that they would win, that they would defeat the South. His big concern, and rightly so, was whether they would have pockets of insurrections that would last for decades, where, or at least years, where it was a no man's land. You could not go there because there was so much animosity, which seemed to fit at the time. And, I'm happy to say that it just kind of worked out, and, the North and the South kind of worked it out, which is a real credit to the people. If you ask me, it's a real credit to the people, because in the Philippines, you have the NPA or whatever it's called. It's been a while since I've been over there. The New People's Army. I mean, they're out in the sticks, and like they come in and make raids at night and stuff like that. It's awful. And, you just can't go into certain areas over there. So that's what Lincoln was really worried about. We didn't get that. And that's kind of where I thought this was going to go 3 years ago. 2.5 years ago, I became very, very worried because I could see the dynamic. And the dynamic was we had two completely total polar opposite views in this United States, and they were incongruous with each other. There's just no way that these two could get along. And I began to know that, and that's what I thought. I thought that we would slip into a kind of civil war with pockets of real unrest and so forth. And I was worried about the left a lot, because I could see that they were getting very strong. They were real strong, and I was waiting for Trump to do something, and he never did. He never did. He talked about it. He said, things, but he never did anything about it. And the more that went on, and the more I said, you have to do something. And this kind of started around about 3.5 years ago. I'd say about 3.5 years ago, I'd say about 2 years into Trump's reign, I started figuring this out and realizing that if something wasn't done uh, to neutralize the playing field here in this country, the United States, that something would happen. I knew that, but what I didn't know was that it would be uh, masked as a medical feature. I did not know that. That was something that took me off guard. That's why I'm not perfect. But I knew something was going to happen. I just figured it was going to be something different. It just so happens that that set into place when you have people with money and people who share their money among each other. I will not go any further with this. And who do not have, typically, these people that I'm talking about, they typically do not have the vices and the carnal dysfunction that so many of us have. And I say that as factual because if you take a look at businesses that go under when times are hard, porno shops do very well, and video movies and stuff like that, and not lingerie. People tend to keep those places open. I'm telling you that. I've noticed that here. And few could argue that. So the group of people that's taking over right now tend to be devoid of that. It's early in the morning, and I can't find my words to go about this. And instead, what they do is they tend to wind up helping each other, right, racially. And we're not going to mention anything on this. We're going to let you use your imagination. Vices is the word I was looking for. And when you do not have any perversions, or when, not that you don't have any perversions, but you don't focus on that. And I know I have a friend named Ronnie who's exactly the same way. He channels all of his habits and vices into snowshoeing, DJing and all this kind of stuff. And he is one of these people that I'm talking about. And he is an extreme far lefty. And sometimes, folks, you have to kind of stick to the old ways, because the new ways come in, and it leads to just remarkably different ways that start coming in that are not beneficial. And that's what you're seeing now. And these people are holding many powers of city councilmen, mayors of cities, and Biden has been in direct contact with so many, saying that it doesn't matter what your governor says about anything, you're going to put in mandates and regulations, and if the people don't like it, that's too bad. So that may or may not be legal. It's probably legal through technicality. But when you have a group of people who do not suffer from disturbingly perverse vices, you start getting a level of success. And this was perfect. And AI could have tracked this. They would have known if you would have correlated that data. So now you have a great deal of them in mayoral and city positions, if not more. And it's going to push that agenda forward. That's what it's going to do. And there's nothing we can do about it, because the greater this goes on, the greater the common perception is that this is the new norm, and the correct norm is, and that's what you have now. So I don't see anything positive coming on the horizon, which is why I'm not doing the news right now, because I can't handle it. And the reason I can't handle it is because I said to myself this morning, I said, you're done with your phase of life now. And like, if you looked at my car, you would realize that it has been a labor of love and complete devotion to stopping into Dollar General and getting the warheads in those little candies, ordering the toxic waste little candies, buying the Boston baked beans candies, those delicious little peanuts that are covered with that coating that we used to eat when I was young up there in New England. They're called Boston baked beans. They're so delicious. All these different things that I really wanted my son to have, because he's going through puberty, I mean, he's 14 years old right now, coming up on, I guess, 15 or 14. I forgot. I think he's coming up on 14. He's born in 2007. So if he was born in October 2007, then 17, he would be 10, 18, 19, 20, 21. So it's 10 plus 4. I guess he's 14 now, right? It's hard because you're not with them, and he's getting big. So now I'm finally going to be able to get my car cleaned out, and I don't have to worry about keeping things in here and being ready to load everything up. Just ridiculous, you know what I mean? And the boxes are so heavy that once I start loading them, I can't move the boxes, so I'm kind of stuck. I can't move, like I got to park the car because I can't load in this car. I have to do it outside the car. So just ridiculous, So I'm finally through that now, and now I will have to move on to my next state of mind, to the next thing I have to do. And, I don't know why I'm talking to everybody about this. I know why I'm doing it, because I like this new subscriber so much. This guy, God Lands Israel, whatever that guy's name is over there. He's sending me text messages telling me about his two sons, and he must, I don't know if he's similar in age, but I didn't get it for a while because his thing was cut off, and he said he sees the 17-year-old, but the 11-year-old that he has, or something like that, I forget the age, he says he's caught up in his game, and then I didn't get the S. If I had gotten the S, I might have, but it was cut off. But I knew it was game. And I figured you're on your game. I didn't realize he was talking about it in a literal sense, which is this, like when you're doing your thing there, okay? And that's what he was saying, and I didn't realize it. And, he's not American. He's from somewhere else. That's all I got to say. I won't give away his locale. But I'm beginning to find a bond with him, because I understand exactly where he's coming from, and he gave me a great compliment by tuning in and making comments like this, because you realize that you found another in the world that you share something in common with. Not to say that I'm not grateful to my other subs. I'm just saying, I'm sure everybody understands that. So I will move forward in my life here as the time draws nearer, and these 7 or 8 families, and these probably 7 or 8 Spanish families that control the Spanish media continue to hammer away at the intellect, or the lack thereof, of the people here in the United States. It is the last hope, because, as I told you, the others don't matter. They don't matter. It's the United States. That's what it all comes down to. It's the way it was in World War II as well. It's just the way it was. And we're not failing. We have failed. There's nothing left now. Just a bunch of brain dead people. And you can tell, because before, people were not wearing their masks a week ago, 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And now they're going right back on. And the testing sites have 600 cars in line and all this. And they're being wound up into just doing what they're expected, and knowing what they're going to do. The AI already knows. So all you have to do is watch them as they absorb their propaganda every day, and they take us into it. So, uh, will we be like parts of Colombia? Was it Colombia? I think is what that was, where they are locking people inside their houses. We could have posses going out and doing that. And you know what? As long as we're on that, I want to make this clear to you mindless idiots. Not all of you are mindless idiots, by the way. I want to make sure you understand this, because a lot of you are so stupid that you just don't understand anything. You understand? The problem that we're having right now. Sorry, folks, I'm going to try to increase the light. The problem that we're having right now is not the fact that we're having requirements to wear masks, or requirements to get a jab, or requirements to do anything like that. That's not what the problem is. The problem is the stupidity of the people. The stupidity and what it leads to. So I will give you an example. The jab, believe it or not, is not the real issue. This is what you can't make people understand. And you say to yourself, of course it is, Paul. You're errant in your thinking there. I'm not errant in my thinking. Because it's almost like a symptom of the problem, of the whole problem. Jabs are just but one part of the myriad of things that we're going to have to deal with in the future now. And I'm going to explain this to you, okay? I like the guy who does this, but I don't like him. You understand? He's a Filipino. He has a very good job. He lives a decent life. He's a nice guy in general, okay? But he couldn't find his asshole with a funnel. Now, why? Because as I kind of slip little things into his brain, oh, you know, Duterte is definitely threatening jail for people who do not get jabbed over there. It doesn't matter to him. It matters not at all. Do you know why? Because he suffers from a very, very low IQ. And that is the problem with most Americans. As you've watched more television, and Richie from Boston is right, he called all this. Richie from Boston was taken off YouTube long ago, warning of this exact thing and where it was going. And the only part he was wrong on is he thought more people would resist and that the National Guard would be called in, as in Australia. I think Australia, was it Australia or the other place there? Wherever it is out there in the British Commonwealth out there far, far yonder. But he got that wrong. He thought more people, he knew about the television and what it did to the human brain. He knew. He knew what 7, 8, 9, 10 families could do with putting the right propaganda in front of people, as well as this propaganda when you go to a gas station and you hear about Omar and his rocking chair for Motel 6. It's all the same. It never ends. So it's a constant barrage in every one of your senses that is taking you there, and it's irresistible to people who think they're real smart because they're good welders, or they're good, what they consider to be good police officers, or they are medics, or they are mechanics, or whatever it is that they do in their profession. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're real intelligent with high IQs, even if they're learning things that require some discipline and so forth and some aptitude. There is a glaring deficiency in a type of intelligence where you know you're being shucked, okay, and jived. That's the problem. And it's critical at times. You have to have it, or whatever intelligences that you have matter not at all. So, you know, because if it's as easy as getting people, if you want to kill all these people and you want to get them to gas up their car and then do a thing where they get in their car and they go into a trap door and you're able to get rid of people like that. And every day the same trick works. Then you realize how important it is to understand the idea that you're being set up, and these people do not have even a clue. They think everything now is being done for their benefit. Au contraire, it is being done for anything other than their benefit. Maybe in some twisted way they think of it, the higher beings here are betters, are real betters, by the way. The ultra elite know that there are too many people right now on planet Earth, and they know that. They understand that. They know that they'll be fished out in a matter of decades, if not years. They know all of this. So, yeah, in the long run, they're doing this out of the kindness of their own heart, supposedly, okay? It's just that some people will suffer. It's not going to be them, typically, okay? We're talking about the Bill Gates. We're talking about, you know what I'm talking about, yada, yada, yada. Now, let's get back to the Filipino. I try to slip these things in by letting him know that Duterte, the smartest man in the world in the Philippines, is making threats to his people to jail. And they can do it. They have barrio captains which keep tabs on things, which is going to be a feature of here very soon. There will be elected captains of block areas here. That's coming, folks. It has to, because we're already talking about your papers, okay? So there's going to have to be some oversight by underlings. Oh, yes. You folks don't realize that yet. I do. You see? When I try to slip that into the Filipino guy and his wife, who's even dumber, because Philippine wives just tend, I know because I've seen this before in my life, they just, they're just enablers. They just support the personality or the dysfunctional personality of the husband. And that one calls him daddy and so forth. They're all like that. A lot of them are like that. I shouldn't say all, but you know what I'm saying. What I can't possibly explain to him. Why? Because he's listening to the standard media, which is probably 7 to 22 families that are making all the rules. And this is including the Philippine network, the GMA, which is probably closely related to China, if not the United States, whatever it is. It's all going in the same direction. Okay? They all want it going in the same direction. And he is brainwashed, completely brainwashed, just like everyone else, him particularly so. And he has a feeling of superiority, which is a false one. He thinks he's real smart and real superior, and he doesn't have a clue. And I can tell by the dabbling into that with little, the dumb dildo theory that I told you about. Pretend you're a dumb dildo and you can, geez, but what about, like if people don't want to like do it and stuff and they get sick? Dumb dildo theory doesn't matter to them. Doesn't matter. Like I told you about my friend Danny. Too bad. Too bad. Too bad. I told you, if you heard that the way I did, you'd be scared. Because I already know. I already knew what that was. There was no original thoughts from Danny. Danny is a special needs kid, and he's absorbing directly from the source. Okay? You're looking at the attitude. And that's basically one race of people. Okay? And there was somebody in the 1930s who caught it. He caught it. And this man was scared to death of it. And he wound up attacking a country that was filled with them. And he knew that it was bad because a lot of those people were here in the United States and they went to his country too because they didn't like the inequality. It's the simple truth. They did not like the way that the whites were treating the blacks at that time. That was their number one reason, among other things. So they went to Germany, these people did, and they went to Russia. And this person was afraid, and he did things to try to stop it. Now, we are going to revisit that. Well, I'm not going to say it completely, but we are revisiting it right now, and it's turning history on its head because they are going to put us into controlled living, and they're already doing it. It's plain and simple. Okay? So learn from history, because I know a lot of you are going to hate me for that. Open your eyes and go take a look. Now, let me finish up this point because I know I'm meandering. I told you, the jab is not the real problem. It's a symptom. It's symptomatic. Well, what do you mean by that, Paul? I thought the jab's it's not. It's but one part of the puzzle, because there's going to be other things coming down the line. Now, I thought about this last night, and MJ is going to learn from this, and he's going to be all the smarter for it, and so will you people. I want you to understand that it's not the jab is not the problem. It is the juggernaut. That is the problem. Do you understand? Because forget about the jab. Let's apply it to something else. If I could slap each one of your faces now into attention, I would. But this should help you. Folks, they've discovered something. It's very, very serious. It's very, very serious. And people are dying after sex. I know it's hard to believe, but people are dying after sex. And now they've managed to figure out what it is. And folks, I know this isn't going to be real easy. I know it's going to bother a lot of you, but we have to have everybody on board. And I'm really sorry about this, but the powers that be have now figured out and determined what the problem is, and they need you on board. Okay? And they're not going to take no for an answer. And if you don't do this, then they're not going to allow you to work. Now, you don't have to do it, but if you don't do it, you're not going to be able to go in and get a job. Why? Because you could have sex with other people. So you're a danger. So you can't be working. If you're uncircumcised, it could cause real health problems that could affect others. And I know you probably don't want to do it, but we're going to have everybody do it. You're going to have to. And if you're going to have to show proof, you're going to have to show proof. But we need everybody to do it now. Okay? And I know that, you think that it's not harming you, but what if you have sex with somebody? They've determined now that that's very, very dangerous, and everybody has to get on board. A lot of you right now are just with jaw on the ground, huh? Because you know it can happen, don't you? Right? Everybody's got to get on board, right? Well, will the jab be the problem then? No. Circumcision will be the problem then. And everybody has to get on board. Understand? Don't think for a second that the jab is at the heart of the issue. It is not. Do you understand, folks? It is the juggernaut and the people behind this. And it is coming primarily from one race. And I will leave it at that because I'm not going to go through it again. Okay? You are going to have history turned on its head. By the way, I shouldn't have even put it out there. You know why? Because it goes out to the universe and you may be seeing it sooner than you think. And I don't know if I had anything to do with this. I might have. But when I was looking up in Funkin' Wagnalls or Merriam or wherever it was, or Woodward's or whatever the dictionary was, when I tried to find synonyms or descriptions for covert, do you know what the first thing that popped up was multiple times? Masked. Did you know that, folks? I did that about a year ago. It came, or maybe not quite a year ago, 9-10 months ago. It came up as masked. How do you like that? I went on and tried that again, and I can't get that same result. I can't get the same result. In other words, when you say, give me some synonyms for that, it doesn't even come up. Do you know why? Because they don't even want you to have the chance to put 1 and 1 together, because most of you are smart enough to know what 1 and 1 is. I'll give you credit for that. They don't even want that out there. I may have had something to do with that. Artificial intelligence may have seen that entry and that request and said, we're not going to have any of that. Did you know I was such a special person? I am. Did you know that? One of the most important people in the world right now. You don't know that. You think I'm laughing? I'm not. I know what this is. You don't. None of you would have drawn the conclusion with circumcision. None of you. You know why? You're not capable of it. Because you do not understand. It takes higher schooled people. It's like I told you, I went to the gas station 2 days ago, or yesterday, whatever it was, 2 days ago, and I talked to that retired nurse, just jello. She's dumb as a box of rocks. Dumb. Can't function, nothing. She's completely controlled, just like a zombie, just like my subscriber said. The people in the Rolls Royces, the brand new Rolls Royces, huge Rolls, not an old one, a brand new one, with suicide doors, by the way, pulled up, none of them were wearing masks. Do you know why? Because they've learned. They've learned. You understand? They know from their schooling, from their higher education, how people are manipulated and what they do to cause change. How the communists made an example of the little boy who was killed by the father because he reported his father for taking 2 or 3 loaves of bread when he was only supposed to take 1. This is a famous thing. You learn about these things when you're in private schools, which I was lucky enough to attend. Richie from Boston was one of the most important people in the world. He still is. But they removed him. And I told as such on my last channel. And he stopped in. And he giggled about a few of my comments when I lost my weight and I was claiming I was threatening to take off my shirt for my females here. I say females just to appease my minority people here. They call them females. Gals is what we call them here. Folks, God bless you. And keep up the good fight as long as we can. Okay? I love all of you little people. Peace out.